Hey, my name's Anthony.
My name's Alex.
And we are
The PTA Podcast.
What's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the PTA Podcast. Flying solo today, but I have a guest with me. This is Troy. Team, I want you guys to understand that Troy's been in this industry for quite a long time. He's quite a smart individual in his chosen field. And Troy, I just want to thank you for your time today, man. Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Thanks, bro.
One of the greatest things that I can always kind of do is help my followers, help my listeners learn as much as they can. And you have a wealth of knowledge in your field. And like I said to you when I first met you in person, I was following you and learning off you from just the stuff I saw on your Instagram page. So to meet you while I was training at the same gym as you, and it's kind of funny that, you know, we're so local. I never thought I'd, meet somebody like you in person, because I just didn't think you were kind of, obviously from the area.
Yeah, you
so,
never know on social media these
exactly,
days.
Yeah,
do you?
yeah. So, look, Troy, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What is it that you do exactly, and how long have you been doing this for?
Yep. So, wow, where do I start? So I run an online mobility program. Mainly my clientele are like 30-year-old plus men, feeling a bit tight in that.
Mm-hmm.
Have a bit of a rugby league background. That's how I sort of got into training and all that sort of stuff to begin with. But I wasn't a coach then. I didn't start that till like after my career sort of ended.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got into the mobility stuff because personally I was dealing with like tightness, and throughout my career I had a lot of injuries, hamstrings, always had a sore lower back, and then after my career I was trying to make the NRL.
Okay.
I was at Para, I was at the Roosters, and then I didn't play NRL, and then I felt like I had to go on a bit of a journey of, okay, why didn't that happen? What could I have done differently? So I went into like, could I have trained differently? Could I better nutrition, mindset, and that sort of sent me down that path. And then I stumbled across mobility stuff. I think I was the last year of my career, I was playing over in France, and just had tight lower back, back pain, like waking up with back pain, and I was doing hammies still, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, there must be like a fix for these things. And then I came across the CrossFitter guy who I believe he sort of started that mobility route, Kelly Starrett. He had a book, Supple Leopard, got into a bit of his stuff, and I felt a bit of benefit, and I went, there's something here. So that was the beginning of everything anyway.
Okay, so just let's backtrack a little bit. You're Rugby League.
Yep.
So you played for Parramatta and the Roosters?
Yes, so I was 18 years old, grew up in New Zealand, and got contracted to the Roosters first, and then I probably spent a 10-year career going through different clubs. Roosters, spent my under-20s, Newtown Jets, Wentworthville, and then Para in 2012, and I think Steve Kearney was the coach, was sort of my last year, and then went overseas 2 years in France.
Rugby League in France, or?
Yeah, Rugby League. They got a little local thing. It was just more like end of career, go do a bit of travelling, that sort of stuff.
All right. And just on that, like, what do you feel? So you were kind of reserve grade New South Wales Cup kind of thing.
Yep.
Was there a sign that you were going to make first grade? Or obviously that was the goal, but was there any kind of signs that they were giving you? Was there? Yeah,
there's a few things. I played a couple of first grade trials at Para. Played like New South Wales residents before like Origin and that, and I was like, my time must be soon, soon, but I just never got that tap on the shoulder.
Was it because of like obviously people with, was it the position that you're playing? Was it the injuries? Was it a combination of both, or it just wasn't meant for you
it just like didn't happen. Like I probably I always believe I could have played better at certain times and whatnot, and I probably wasn't doing the best things myself. I was just doing what I knew,
Well, you only know what you know at the time, right?
A lot of partying probably, and like that doesn't help, but you just sometimes you don't know better until like everything's finished, and you sort
How old
of
are you
look back.
now?
I'm 39, 40 this year.
Oh wow, okay, cool. So back then it would have been like, late 20s.
Yeah.
So you got very different mindset now to
100%.
And life teaches you a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
So I like that. I didn't realize you played rugby league.
Yep.
Yeah, so it makes sense where you got this solid build on you.
That was my background. So played in the centres, outside back.
Yeah, well, I've seen the way you and your friend Anthony train, and I always I said it to you a couple of times. I'm like, I can respect what you like. It's great what you're doing, because it wasn't the typical stuff you see most gym goers do, right?
Yeah.
It's quite advanced, and there's a good level of thought behind the exercise execution and also the exercise selection itself. So you read a book called Supple Leopard, and that kind of opened up your mind to the mobility side of things, right? Where did it go to from there? Because I'm am I correct in assuming that was like the start, right? So that was kind of you built that was what helped you build the foundation, right? What happened to build you up? What else did you kind of do to get you to the point where you're at now, where you got this huge following on social media? You're helping people have better mobility, no aches and pains, squat better, hip hinge better, all that kind of stuff. Some of the stuff you're showing and teaching, I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So where did the knowledge kind of grow from there?
Okay, so with my rugby league background, there was another coach at the time called Keegan Smith. He was the strength and conditioning coach for the Roosters. Yep. So he had some coaching program that was sort of, he had like a few different things. So he'd do like the strength work, but then he had like juggling and like handstands. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I think that's something I'd be interested in learning and doing all that things. And plus with his rugby league background, I sort of had that respect that he sort of had done like a high level of work before and worked with like pro athletes. Because I thought initially that's what I'd do. I'd just focus on working with like NRL players and stuff like that. And then what else happened? I just started going to like little seminars and that. I think I got into powerlifting at that time as well. So I did like Australian strength coach when I was in North Sydney.
Good old Sebastian Oreb.
Yeah.
He's been my coach for a long time.
Yeah, it's awesome. So like I did like a one day type thing.
Together.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you never know. So like he was over in North Sydney back then. And like, I don't know, at the time I was like, I think it was like $300-$400, but that was like a lot of money, like to just go somewhere for one day.
All of a sudden, it jumped up to a couple of grand.
Yeah, and then I got a lot of knowledge out of that.
Yeah, it was
and
great.
Then I was like, okay, because I feel like I learn better by going to those things and doing things rather than because I don't have like university background education.
Me either, exactly.
Yeah, I was just PT and then figured it out myself.
That's generally how it works for most of us.
Yeah, sitting in a classroom and just. I don't know. I did my PT course and I hated it. I was just, I just need to get. I was like, to be done. This is not right. There's other things like I've been in like professional athlete environments and like some of the stuff that they're teaching is not right. Hopefully, it's better now. That was 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, well, I did mine in 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about 16 years ago. So. Yeah, I'm from what I'm seeing, it's actually not that much better, bro.
Yeah, there was one exercise I don't know, jumping over a broomstick and trying to say this was a certain exercise. I was like, nah, that's not right. we need the basics better than anything.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, and then I think I went, done a lot of that coaching stuff, and then I went to different, or sort of like when, maybe before or social media was just starting, like Instagram was still very... like it's not like what it is now. So it was probably 10 years ago and people were still doing like little seminars and I felt that was my best way to learn things and then apply it to myself first. So as a mobility coach, I felt like if I'm going to coach it, then I got to be about it. So I worked on things like middle splits, back bends, front splits and all that. And being a bigger guy, I felt like that contrast of me being strong and mobile that might be my selling point. So that's how I started and I think did well on social media initially as well.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a guy called Jordan Shallow?
No.
The muscle doc?
No.
He's a Canadian guy, chiropractor by trade, but geez, he's a great, smart man.
Yep.
And he runs a course, like a exercise biomechanics, as he terms it. It's called Prescript. And it's all based around mobility, stability, strength. To be mobile and be stable, the combination of those two allows you to express your strength better.
Yep.
Right? And that resonated so much with me. So he opened up my eyes to the mobility, stability thing, especially single leg stuff and mobility with the hips and how it interrelates with the knees and the ankles and then talking about the spine and the shoulders and the whole deal, right? And he was that guy that catapulted me a lot and then just opened up this whole just door to like so much more knowledge that I didn't even know was out there. You love his stuff. He's such a smart dude, man. And he works with a lot of pro NFL players over there. He's really smart. He comes here every now and then. If he ever does, he comes to the last time he was here was a while ago, but he came to my gym and he ran a workshop, and it was just amazing, man. Like, you really got to tune into this guy because his words, his vocab is so high end. He's using all the slang terms that we use. He'll use the higher end words of it all, and you just really have to stay switched on to what he's saying, because if you switch off for a second, you lose it all, you know. But moving on to the kind of, you built that up for yourself with the mobility and the stability stuff and the size and the strength, and you married the two really, really well. What was the thing that kind of took you from, starting to build that momentum to catapulting you to the point where you're at now? Was it just, like a consistent thing? Did you have, was there kind of a strategy behind it all? Was it just, that's just pushed this? I'm really passionate about it. I'm enjoying it. Let's see how we go. Where did it go from just when you first started to the point that you're at now?
COVID happened.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was working at a gym in Maryland's, PTing, doing all my strength and mobility in person. And then, obviously, you would have went through it if you're a gym owner, like gym shut down. And I was like, my income went to zero and I had to figure something out. And at that time, online was the only way. And then I think I was still training people at the park that time. I was just doing anything to get $1 pretty much.
That's all we were doing as well,
it forced me to figure out how to train people online. And then I think I was lucky in that sense that people were a bit more open to being coached online, because it was still pretty foreign to people, but that was the sort of only thing. And that kicked me off of a few clients initially. And then I just had to figure everything out myself back then. Like, everyone had to, like, it forced you, because I don't know, you got to feed your family, you got to feed yourself, still got bills are coming in and all that. So it was like that desperation forced me to, like, build that online platform initially. Yeah,
I love that. So you just innovated. You didn't go into panic mode like 98% of the population.
I was still panicking.
Oh no, yeah, mate, I think we all were, because we were like, how long is this going to be for?
Yeah,
it was quite uncomfortable, but I think you found a comfort in the online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I can make this work. And then it started to build, right? Then you start to get more attention, then you start to get more followings, and you start to get more inquiries. And it was just, did it allow you to kind of give yourself time time back to expand your knowledge more as well?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I think it gave me a lot of reps, which is super important, of coaching reps, because then I'm seeing all these people coming in, say 50 people all at once, and I'm seeing their mobility. Like, I do like little assessment photos online, they send me in, and then I'm just looking at it, and then I get to program for them, and then I get to see what's work, and that feedback loop's very fast.
Yeah.
So just that amount of reps is just like, it just builds your knowledge and your, I guess, conviction of what you do as well. So it builds up your confidence.
Good on you, man. And I think this goes, like, a lot of people in our industry feel like online coaches, from what I've heard, a lot of online coaching is, quick, easy. It's a bit of a scam sometimes.
Yep.
They're not doing much. They're charging stupid money, but they're not actually giving you much. And just hearing you say that, 50 people give you videos, and you're looking at every single one of them, with a good keen eye, pointing out different things. You wouldn't just look at the video once and give feedback. You look at it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, or as many times as you need to pull apart different things, right? That's a lot of work. That's a lot of time, right? And I can respect that. I really can, because obviously, as an in-person coach who has maybe 5 or 6 online clients, the time that we put in person on the gym floor is as you know, it's different.
Yeah.
You're live, you're in person, you see it there, you fix it on the spot, bang, you go, right? How, in any given point in time, when it comes to your online clients, what's the main kind of problem that they're suffering from? And what is it that you do to kind of just give them that whole process of, okay, this is what's going on with you. This is the prescription per se. I want to hear back from you in X amount of time, and let's see how you're feeling. Like, how does that kind of work?
Yeah, so we got assessment first. I just do 5 quick photos. So it's just like the couch stretches, can you touch your toes, how they sit in like a pancake where your legs are wide and just reaching forward, and then just like shoulder overhead. I feel like you got to make it easy online. If it was a massive assessment up front, I feel like it just takes longer for them to get started, because I feel like the work is the most important, and getting the reps in is more important than trying to do a massive analysis to start and all that sort of things. Like, get the reps in, and then we like tinker with things. I've always been like a big advocate of sort of that sort of style.
Keep it simple, huh?
Yeah, keep it super simple. Don't try and fix 10 things at once. Okay, we just want you to be able to touch your toes pain-free. Like, simple goal. Okay, and then we can go on to the next thing. Maybe your couch stretch can improve. And when you sort of improve those positions, your mobility is going to improve. And then I came up with those assessment photos, and then they send me photos again in maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks' time, and then we say that you've done this amount of work and you've improved. Look how better you are. And then like, oh, okay, it's actually working. So the big thing with mobility is you can do mobility, but you can't. Most people don't know if they're improving or not. That's just going off a feeling. Okay, and feelings like, who knows how good you're feeling that day or bad you're feeling.
Exactly.
Or you've been concreting the whole day and now your back's
Or one poor
rooted.
night's sleep and you're
Yeah, one bad night and you do your mobility and you say, oh, this isn't working. But when you have like that photo difference, then that shows them, okay, what I'm doing is actually working. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did a similar thing years ago. I had my mobility issues around my hips, and my squatting was very.
Yeah.
As I went to that deeper squat position, I was starting to collapse, and things went the way they were supposed to be. And then I just did a couple of drills in between, like my first warm up set with the empty bar on the back squat, and then I did a couple of drills to open up my hips and just get my calves and everything around my legs just feeling like a bit more, loose, for lack of a better term. And then I did another warm-up set with empty bar, but I videoed before and after. And I didn't feel a difference, but the difference in the video, I was like, oh, wow, more upright, less collapsing, kept my rib cage over my pelvis better. Just a small thing. So I can definitely respect how you feel. Okay, it's how you feel on the day, right? But how it looks can tell a very different story as well,
Yeah, as a coach, you sort of need that feedback to give to the client in some sense, that things are actually working.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing to keep that buy-in and keep them motivated to. Exactly, just like if we did weights and the weights had no numbers on them, like how do you even know, like, are you improving? But weights is easy because you put extra 5 on your squat and okay, my squat went up 5 kilos. But with mobility, how do you look at it? Yeah, so I feel like people stretch, but then they don't know if they're actually improving. So then they like, waste of time.
Okay, what's the kind of main problem that you get with people that inquire with you?
Tight hips, lower back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it more a mobility issue, or is it more a strength issue? Is it more like, is it how they're moving when they're training, or is it just a combination of a few things?
Yeah, combination of a few things. So like, I feel like a big part of it is what they do for work. Like the other 23 hours in the day.
Sit down all day?
Yeah, sitting down, like you got your desk worker sitting down, or you got your tradie who's working, roofers, drivers. Yeah, and they're probably like not, they're just not generally in shape as well. And then they just need something. They're already in pain, and then they, go train and they get injured. So we just open up their hips, makes them feel better. They get a good amount of like little results from there, and then they can go into like proper training as well.
Yeah, so you have this whole assessment, photos, set a good foundation, and then build up from there, so to speak, right? Yeah, I love that. And any athletes train with you? Any of the footy players from?
Yeah, we've had heaps of NRL players through. When I first started doing PT one-on-ones, I sort of had a few through. I do I do a week at the start of the year with the New Zealand Māori team versus the Aboriginals. So I've been doing that for the last 7 years. So we go into camp with them for a week.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so I get a little bit of that NRL touch. And so I'm like, what am I, like an assistant high performance sort of coach in there? I don't really do much, I fill up water bottles when I need to.
Fluff it off like it's something. It's actually so cool, man.
Yeah, so I get around those guys and they're horrible. Cool. And I think the first time I hustled my way in there, I had a mate who was the manager.
Good on you, man.
I was like, they were going to Gold Coast, and I just rang him. I was like, you need to get me in there. I'll pay for my flight and my hotel. Just get me in camp and I'll try and help out.
Good on
when
you,
I first started off. And then I got a few players from there. Who's playing now? Dylan Watini-Zalesniak from the Warriors. He was at Penrith, and then we sort of done some stuff together. He had dodgy as knees, so I gave him 2 things, and he was like, my knees haven't felt better.
This guy scores the best tries I've ever seen in NRL.
And all I did was I gave him this flossing band. I said, just do that to warm up. And he was like, oh, my knees have never felt better. And then we did a few sessions together, and then there's maybe 1 or 2 other guys, and then that was the start, and I just did a little bit of social media stuff with them and sort of leveraged it that way as well, just like a photo together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, bro.
I was in camp too. Like, I don't know.
That's
I think
mad.
I had the coaches and everything around me and players. So
That's so cool.
yeah,
I love
trying to
that.
leverage off them as well.
I wish the Bulldogs kept him. I love that, man. Cool. Now let's go backtrack all the way back to 10 years ago,
Yep.
right? Or when you first started, right? And you were doing whatever you were doing. You are a kind of a unique person where you had this world-class experience as an athlete yourself and being coached by, really good, experienced SNC coaches. Then you go on to do a Cert 3 and 4 in fitness and you're like, what is this, right? If you were to be able to kind of go back in time and tell yourself maybe one or two things to do differently with your training based on what you know now, what would they be?
Just I think learning like the regressions to like all exercises and the progressions.
Yeah.
So from like that progressive overload standard. I don't know if your audience is very like thing, but this is like coaches talk. Like
the coaches
so
watch
like,
this one. Yeah.
I don't know. You can't do a squat, so can you go back and do something, a box squat, and then like have that little like process of being able to go back. I feel like people, if they can't deadlift, they'll just stop. And then, okay, the doctor said don't deadlift. But can you do, I don't know,
Yeah.
an RDL or something?
Can you
Or
pick
like,
something off the floor without killing yourself?
yeah. I think learning those quick, I learned them like over the years, but I think if I went back and just sort of learnt the different exercises, the regressions to things. But yeah, like when I first started, I knew nothing. Like,
No, me too.
Yeah.
I only knew what I did in the gym, right? Or what I read on bodybuilding.com when I
yeah,
first started.
bodybuilding.com, how good was that?
the greatest forum of
Yeah,
all
the
time.
forum's best.
Okay, cool. I like that, man. The regression. So, like, an example that we use, and some of my clients who might be listening would relate. Like, we don't teach a conventional deadlift straight away. We teach the foundations of how to move.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, with a deadlift, there's so many things happening at one time. It looks simple, but it's not. I always tell people there's actually a lot going on here. So to get you jumping onto a deadlift bar or a power bar and doing a conventional deadlift, thinking that it's just pulling it off the floor, you got it all wrong from the start. So we actually get clients doing a trap deadlift first, because the body can work itself out much easier in a trap deadlift compared to a conventional deadlift, right? And so we build a really good foundation that way. And then when they get to the conventional deadlift, they've got about 90% of the technique down pat. They can hip hinge and bend their knees at the same time. They can learn how to brace. They can push off the floor with their legs. They understand that it's not a yank off the floor with the arms, all the small things. And then we progress them to a conventional deadlift, and then it's just keep going from there, right? So I love the fact that you said that, because at least I know I'm on the right track with how I train my clients.
Yeah. Even just like learning how to hinge. When I first started, I didn't even know what a hinge was. I was like,
Me either, yeah.
But I was naturally strong, so I could just yank things.
Yeah.
And I was lifting it wrong, but I could lift heavy weight.
I hurt my back a long time ago. I hurt it out of my L5, right? And when I look back at the way I trained, it was because I was strong. I just got through it. And that's the worst. If I could go back in time personally, that's what I would tell myself. Stop. Just fix the technique. Really focus on how this thing's looking. Don't just do it because you can do it. Yeah, that's probably the one thing I'd do to go back. If I was to go back in time,
same with me.
Just drop the weight down, yeah,
as well. Of those regressions and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, yeah.
It all helps.
There was an old dude that used to train at the gym that I used to work out before I had my own. He was an much older guy. At the time, we're talking like 15, nearly 20 years ago. At the time, I was, he was in his 70s. So, I don't think he's around anymore. But he was an ex-powerlifter. I deadlifted at 210. Right, I thought, this is mad. And he came in and I was excited. I went to show him. So I showed him. He looked at me and goes, don't ever lift that again. And my whole ego just got crushed. And I said, why? He goes, Anthony, that's really bad technique. He goes, go back to 60 kilos and let's work on your technique. We spent an hour together one day, and he took me, the most I went up to was 140 kilos, but I was sweating. Like it had been like I did a hard session, because he really showed me how to actually deadlift properly. I never knew what engaging your lats would feel like, or how to leg press off the floor, or getting a good brace. I didn't know that. I just took a big breath and just lifted the thing off the floor.
The bar.
And if it moved, it moved mad, with no respect for technique or how it looked or anything like that. So when I learned that off him, instantly I was like, I thought of all my clients. I'm like, guys, this is great. Let's take it all the way back and let's really fix your technique. But when I hurt my back, it was because I neglected the simple technique, and everybody was trying to pin it to one thing that I did. And then when I met this osteo that I work with, his name is Manu Wakely. He's over in Bondi Junction. Really smart dude. Ever heard of oh, the name is kill me. He writes books on the lower back. American guy.
McGill?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this guy writes books with McGill.
Oh, yeah.
All right, really close to him. So he was the one that really got me to understand what was going on with my injury, with my herniation. And he just said to me, he goes, Anthony, it's not one thing that caused it. This is a build-up. One thing was the last thing, right? But it wasn't just one thing that caused this. And we started going through all the different things that I do, and he opened up my eyes to, the curl up and planking, side planking, so the bird dog, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Instantly, all my clients, that's their warm up. Straight away.
100%.
Because I know I was pain free in 3 days with that guy. Whereas 6 months prior, 3 days a week with a physio, no improvement. One session with him off the principles that McGill taught him, I was pain free. My hamstring was able to kind of let go. I could touch my toes again, all the things that I was struggling to do. So instantly, all my clients, guys, we're going to regress you. This is the new warm-up. And Ben's one of my clients. He can appreciate it. This is the new warm-up. You do not touch a barbell until you've done this warm-up. And then everyone just comes in and they just do the whole warm-up program. And I think there's quite a lot to kind of take away from some of these really, really smart dudes who have gotten what they term as the gift of injury. I think it opens up your mind to, okay, although we could do it, is there a way we can do this better and kind of preserve the body?
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Do you get people that come to you with those kinds of injuries, the backs, like the full proper herniations? And
Yeah.
are you finding that the way in which you approach them sees them making some good progress? Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like a little bit of the Andrew Locke, which he's sort of learnt from McGill as well. So I did a few lower back things and shoulder seminars
Me
with
too.
him.
Yeah, me too.
And then the guys who come with me are not deadlifting, but it's like they're deadlifting throughout their day. Think a concreter, he's just bending like a poor deadlift. Sorry, they're doing 1,000 reps a day of poor deadlifts, and then they might tie their shoelace or they might even sneeze and their back goes. It's that accumulation of spinal flexion and load that sort of eventually, and then they come to me, and then I avoid spinal flexion. I don't know. I was under that understanding when I went to a few of those lock things that you just got to keep neutral spine for a while. You don't want to until the discs heal properly. Just stay away from a bit of spinal flexion. I do Jefferson curls, which is heaps spinal flexion. So
I watch you.
They're no.
I watch you at the gym and fucking hate. I know how painful.
No Jefferson curls for back pain clients.
Yeah, 100%,
we take that out straight away. We just try and do the basics of McGill, and then we sort of just focus on their hips because the lower back's just copying it already throughout their day. I can't stop, unfortunately, what they do throughout the day. We try and teach them how to hinge, how to pick up. I do a sock pick up off the ground, make sure they can hinge back properly, try and encourage them to keep that neutral spine throughout their day because it's that 100 bad reps, even if they're just bending to pick up the groceries, can give the back a bit of irritation as well. So glutes, core, hips. We do introduce a little bit of spinal flexion, Jefferson curl style, but it has to be pain free. You can't start them off if you can only go to your knees pain free. That's fine.
Yeah.
You want to keep testing it, no weight, no anything. Because you're going to bend for flexion eventually, so you may as well just test it out.
We've always been taught, not always, but back in the day, we're taught spinal flexion, especially the lumbar spine, bad.
Yeah.
Right? Then you get taught, you can give a little bit here and there, right? Then you get taught spinal flexion is actually good for some people, or for a deadlift, for example. I like your approach, though. If you're in pain, avoid it.
Yeah.
When the pain goes away, we can introduce that so you can build endurance in that position. I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's your pain indicator type thing.
100%. Yeah. So I love the fact that you mentioned the fact that you work on hips, glutes, core. This is leading me into my next question. When you get those lower back problems, a lot of physios say your lower back needs to get stronger, right? When someone's got lower back pain. And I tend to disagree. What's your take on that?
It's my take. I feel like my first approach is always hips.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the control of everything in the lower body. So, yes, your lower back and core needs to get strong, but your movement has to be good as well. So it's like movement stability, hip mobility, up and down the chain, fix as much as you can without flaring up a back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if they got like any nerve issues, that's even worse. Sciatica and that. Trying to like keep people training when they're in constant pain and like one little thing and it's a flare up straight away and they're out for 2 days.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's hard. It is. And the thing is, I always tell people like, and maybe you can kind of explain this a little bit more, like the nervous system dictates so much around recovery, but also around how we can be able to recruit muscles, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's had a bad sleep, or if somebody's already in pain, or if somebody's got, not hydrated properly, or not nourished enough through nutrition, or their nervous system is a shot to pieces because they're physical at work all day, where do you kind of interrelate that into what they do with their rehab or their training, right? Because that's kind of, for me, it plays a big role. Like the general population client that we train, I'm going to respect it as much as we do because they don't know how important it is as much as we do.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of get them to understand that, yes, on paper, this is going to get you better, but there's a few gray areas that we need to understand, and it's not always going to be linear. You're going to have moments where you feel good. You're going to have moments where you feel really stiff and sore. It doesn't mean you're going backwards. We just got to work with the body.
Yeah. I think like communication's probably the big one. Like people overpromise these days on social media. Now I try and it gets the clicks and it gets the views. Fix your back pain with 3 exercises. Like we've all seen those posts. You're like, and it just, you add context to any situation and those exercises go out the window straight away.
Right. Yeah.
And then I feel like as coaches, we're fighting against social media, what's out there. My clients send you stuff off social. What about this exercise? What about this exercise?
What do you think about this guy's advice? I go, unfollow him before I block you. I said, if you like his advice more than mine, go fucking train with him.
Yeah. So you sort of got to like, I know they're trying everything they can, but I think communication around, especially with my back pain clients, I just say like, you might get flare-ups from a bad sleep, from make sure you're hydrated and all that stuff as well. Nutrition's right, body weight, like, and work, around stress levels, like it all plays a part. And
it does, eh?
Yeah.
This is where people need to understand that, like, although what you do is exercise specific, there are so many other factors that actually influence the exercise and the way the body's going to respond to the exercise, right? And I love the fact that you just want to communicate and you want to just educate and you explain to them, like, look, this is the goal. You might have days where you're a bit off. You might have days where you feel great, but the goal is to get you feeling better the majority of the time. Like, I don't have an issue now with my back. But sometimes I still get flare-ups.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll get a bit of that sciatic pain. And I know if my body's really exhausted. If I haven't slept well, like for a few days on end, or if I've just been sitting down for too long behind a computer, I'll get a bit of that pain that kind of starts to travel down the leg. I don't panic, but I know what's causing it.
Yeah.
So I'll either pull back on the exercise that I do or the intensity of my training, or I just downregulate my nervous system, jump in the sauna, have a nap or something just to kind of bring my nervous system down so I can heal. And then the pain tends to kind of sort itself out, The next question I have for you, when it comes to obviously your career so far, right? What's some of the biggest things that you feel have been able to be your biggest lessons in excelling your ability to be the coach that you are today?
Oh, biggest lessons. I think just always trying to educate myself has been probably my biggest positive thing that I've always done. Like, and not trying to be so dogmatic in a certain way of my coaching.
Yeah.
So I always feel like I can be wrong with certain things, and not to judge different styles of training as well. Learn a bit more about that style. I've always crossed over to different genres. Like I did like a lot of handstand and body weight and calisthenics work at one stage.
It actually plays such a big role.
And I had a real good coach. He was probably like I feel like there's like the S&C style mobility, and then there's like those movement guys who do some really crazy body
I
weight
love
stuff.
this. I think
like,
it's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
like sort of Ido Portal. He was like one of the guys.
King,
He
man.
trained
King.
Conor McGregor, and he was like, he does a bit of like, I guess, weird stuff like dancing movements and that, but he had some really good training like stuff as well. So I sort of learnt a little bit from one of his maybe understudies, Harry. He's like a one-arm handstander.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to go to a few of his like seminars and coaching things.
Well,
He was like wicked strong.
Near where you work, there's a gym there. They're very big on their calisthenics.
Yeah.
I know what they used to buy my meals when I had the meal prep company. Then they're nice guys, but I follow them, and some of the stuff they do is outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, you don't realize how strong you can get just with body weight movements. Like
Yeah,
this coach I had, he could do like one-arm chin-ups, and
It's a different kind of strength.
and
isn't
he
it?
was like taller than me. I reckon he was about 95, maybe 100 kilos doing it.
So it wasn't a small dude either.
Yeah, he could do one-arm handstands and
That's
backflips and
Have
ring
you seen
work.
some of those, some of those monks or some of those guys that are, really into their martial arts on their fingers doing
Yeah.
a lot of these push-ups, and it's just like, bro, my fingers would break. I can't even do one hand. I did it on 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
man.
ever do, have a good like round of calisthenics training and handstand work. It's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
My like wrists are super strong and my forearms from just doing it, because you're always like upside down and like you're taking all the weight through your hands and that. So I've sort of got heaps of strong wrists now just from doing like
Well, our
maybe
body's
2
quite,
years.
our body's quite resilient like that. It adapts very quickly,
Mm.
right? I guess we're just so in tune to thinking that the only way to get strong is to go to the gym.
Mm.
And it's actually not the case.
Yeah,
like
there's
my
so many
my
ways.
clients look at me going, "How do you do these weighted chin-ups and weighted dips?" I said, "Because I got really good doing it with my own body weight first."
Yeah.
And that for me, I came from a martial arts background, did a lot of kickboxing. I was a really competitive boxer. I did introduce typical strength training, like gym style strength training, at some point in my career. But prior to that, it was lots of running, sprinting, jumping, chin-ups, dips, vertical jumps, horizontal jumps, all that kind of stuff that was just my own body weight as resistance. Maybe adding a weight vest on top, maybe. But I never did the typical weight stuff until maybe halfway through my career, right? Slowly introduced a bit of squatting and deadlifting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But mate, I'll tell you what, that time where I actually did capoeira, which is that Brazilian fight dancing. I did that for a period of time at Bondi.
Yeah.
And man, that was fun.
Yeah.
But in that main part of Bondi where all those guys just do all the calisthenics, I was one of those young kids with those guys, right? It
Yeah.
was great. And geez, I was strong, man. And the physiques I had on them. And all they used to do was maybe gym twice a week. The rest of the time it was just running, jumping, and doing all that stuff. And there's a lot to say for what we can do with our own bodies, hey?
Yeah, I feel like the strength and conditioning stuff, guys should like go do your degree and then go do some of this movement stuff just to, have a like experience of like true like strong mobility. If you can really hold like some good holds and then do some calisthenic movements, I think it like correlates real good, and it just mixes up the weights work. You can chuck in like a bit of chin-ups and dips. I love chin-ups and dips. Like I do
But
them
you see me at the gym.
2-3 times.
Yeah, I
me
do
too.
'em. I love them. I think they're actually my favorite exercises. Like people say to me, if you could pick 3 exercises, what would you do all the time? I say I'd squat, I'd dip, and I'd chin up.
Yeah.
That's all I need in my workout, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But the last question before we kind of finish up, and this is kind of a bit of a weird one, but I always like to ask this of my guests. If you were to lose your reputation, your audience, your contacts, and your business, say tomorrow, and you had to start again, what would you do today to rebuild your career?
Ooh. So I think I was looking at that one. I was like, that's a tough question. So you need eyeballs to get clients. So social media is probably the free platform to do that. So I'd start there. I would try and train people and just give them the whole kitchen sink. You know what I mean? I'll do everything for you to get my first 10 clients back. Just get to that 10 mark. I'll do your nutrition. I'll do mobility. I'll drive to your house and wake you up if I have to. Like if I'm that desperate, I'll do everything. I'll pull you out of bed and let's go running, and I'll drive you.
do that for one
I'll
of my
drive you to the
clients.
gym. So just like, I feel like when people, even I've spoken to other coaches when they get started, they're like, I need to figure out all these things. I'm like, nah, just
you
throw
don't.
kit. If you don't even have one client, just make that one client and just do everything for them.
Yeah.
You know?
When I first started and I was in a commercial gym, didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to talk to people. I'm just going to help them out while they're training. If I see that technique a bit off, I'll help them out. Then before I knew it, I started to get this reputation at the gym that he's the guy that you go to if you need help, if you're not sure.
Yeah.
And then it turned from that to he's the guy that you train with because he's going to get you great results because he actually gives a shit about you. Then before I knew it, when I started my own gym, all the people, even if they weren't training with me, a lot of them followed me because of that fact that they saw that I just cared. I thought, okay, there's something to be shown from just actually being a human being first and going, you know what, you're bent over row, you're a bit off in your positioning, or your squats are a bit here, or your lunges aren't done well, or you're going to hurt yourself if you deadlift like that. Let me show you a couple of things. And let's organize a free session. I'll show you how to do this properly, right? And then from there, it was like, if I was to have my time again, I'll probably close more people faster.
Yeah.
And not be scared to actually ask for the sale.
Yeah,
But
same here.
it's worked out, however it's worked out. But, these people I'd never close them or never ask them to train with me. But when I moved, I was quite fortunate. They seeked me out.
Yeah.
But it came back to just caring, give them the kitchen sink, show them that you're there to support them and help them. So if I always tell these young PTs, they go, oh, so how did you build this? I'm like, so these two,
Yeah.
get them dirty.
Yeah.
Really dirty, and get your reps in, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
I think, when we go to the Anytime Fitness and when I'm training, I see you and your friend there, I see some of the other coaches. There's only one of those coaches out of all of the ones that work there that actually greets me. And she greets everybody. She's such a nice girl. And I hope she builds her clientele up because she's actually quite nice. But the rest of them, if you're not paying them, they won't even look at you.
Yeah, you got to you can notice them as coaches. And
you pick them out. I get disappointed because I'm like, man, even the manager there doesn't even greet people half the time. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is a great opportunity for you to build something that people love to come to and are comfortable to come to because there's 1,000 gyms in Kingsgrove already. Do you get what I mean? It's like, just greet people with a smile and watch the difference. It's a thing with me. So when I see the other coaches there, I'm like, guys, just because no one's paying you doesn't mean you can't see the people. Because 95% of people that train who don't have a coach and don't want a coach, they're actually not making much progress, right? And then when you say that, if I keep thinking to myself, man, what I would do is I'd go over to him, hey, I saw your technique. Can I just show you how to do that a little bit better? That's it. And before you know it, you start to build rapport. And before you know it, they start to trust you and they might ask you for a bit of extra help,
Yeah. And someone else might see you too, like doing that, and they might have the confidence
comes back to that,
if you're looking
care,
friendly and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
It comes back to that care, man. And I think gyms are such a great opportunity to simply show people that you care about them, right? Especially from guys like us who actually work in the field.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite important to showcase to people that you genuinely care about them as a human being first. And I think we have such a good opportunity to do that as coaches because you're not just getting somebody better mobility. You're not. You're doing so much more than that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know deep down you know that, but sometimes it's nice to hear it too, right? Like if you're getting somebody out of back pain who can therefore be able to still work and provide for their family, that's huge. That's not just a bit of back pain going.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think a lot of people forget that there's so much more that we do for people than just get them to look a certain way or move a certain way or relieve their pain a bit. We're actually giving a better quality of life. And I think that's the powerful thing that we have in our ability to do that, And if you're willing to go out of your way to help people, it's quite a nice thing to do, So respect to what you do, man. And you're doing a fantastic job. I think I'm going to get you in and do an education day with my entire team soon.
Yeah, happy to.
Because you're local and I know you work predominantly online. Do you do any face-to-face stuff or just mainly online?
Mainly online.
All
online.
I'm trying to plug your services here. That's
all online. Yeah,
okay,
cool. I do train my online clients. They come in and see me if they need to. Yeah, do a bit of content as well. Film sessions and stuff like that.
Well, then I think we can do some content together, man, for sure. Mad. We're only local to each other, so it's good. Troy, I know you're predominantly online, so where can people find you if they need your services, man?
Coach Troy Savage.
Cool. On Instagram?
Yep, Instagram.
Awesome, fantastic. And look, I follow him. I've been following him for a long time, and he's got some fantastic content, and he taught me a lot about all this kind of stuff that we're talking about. He taught me a lot, so thank you, man, and I do appreciate your time here. Thanks for jumping on the potty.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You're welcome, my man. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Coach Troy Savage, enjoy the podcast.